guys, it's Andrea from the blog Pine and Prospect Home, and today I want to talk to you about English cottage style elements that you can incorporate into your home on a very low budget. So as most of you know, we live in an English cottage revival style home that was built in the 30s, and over the years I have really tried to embrace the style of our home and really incorporate those elements into my decor on the inside of our home. So if you love English cottage style homes just as much as I do, I want to share some elements with you that you can incorporate into your home that won't cost a ton of money. So the first English cottage style element that I want to share with you guys is a neutral color palette. I think one of the simplest and most affordable ways that you can incorporate English cottage style into your home is by softening the hues throughout your home and really drawing from nature for your color inspiration. I will share a link in the description below with all of the paint colors throughout our home that we have used. This is by no means a hard, fast rule. I have seen English cottages with lots of floral wallpapers and paisleys. I think it just all depends on the era, how old the home is, when it was built, but I tend to really draw a lot of my inspiration from the very old English cottages built with stone. And in those cottages, I see a lot of neutral, muted tones. So the next element that I want to share with you today is wood furniture. So I love painted furniture. I have painted furniture all throughout my home, but there is something so beautiful about incorporating wooden pieces in your home to give it an English cottage style. Years ago, when cottages were built on the countryside, homeowners would use wood from the surrounding area to build a lot of their furniture. One of my favorite wood finishes is scrubbed pine. And I would love to incorporate an authentic pine wardrobe or cabinet or dresser in my home one day, but they can be pretty pricey. There are so many awesome tools that we have today that can give us this beautiful raw wood finish, and I'm going to share a couple of ideas with you. I have a nightstand next to my bed that I gave a raw wood finish using a bleaching technique, and I'll share the link for that below. And then I also have another table in my home that was given to me by my mom. It was free and I'm sure she paid something for it, but I stripped that table down and gave it a beautiful patina using a citrus strip spray, which I will link below as well. So there are ways of creating beautiful wood finishes on a really low budget if you can't afford the gorgeous antique options. But just incorporating wooden pieces in your home will give it that rustic English vibe. The third English style element that I think is so important are shelves and built-ins. So English cottages are known for these little nooks, these built-in shelves in these awkward places under the stairs. And if you're trying to create this style in your own home, I think it's so important to incorporate shelves or built-ins throughout your home. So think about different areas in your home that don't really serve a purpose. It's kind of an awkward area. There's not really a piece of furniture you could put there. Maybe think about doing some built-in shelving. So this is what we did on either side of our fireplace into our living room. As you enter the entryway, it sort of opens up into the living room, and it would be sort of awkward to have a chair there or something that blocks off the entrance into our living space. So we decided to utilize that area and create some built-ins out of some pine boards. It was very affordable, very simple DIY for my husband, and he added a bench seat on one side and then some bookshelves on the other side. We also added some shelving in our dining room. We had a pretty large wall there, but honestly, we can't fit a whole lot of furniture on that wall because it would have just made the space too tight. So I bought some inexpensive corbels at Home Depot. We bought some pine boards that I stained, and I created these gorgeous open shelves in our dining space. If you live in a really small home and you don't have even the room for shelving, really try to think outside the box. There's an area off of our kitchen that was, again, sort of an awkward space. It was too large for any artwork that I had, but a little too small for really anything else. And so I used some leftover beadboard and some wood scraps that we had from old projects, and we created a cutting board display on that wall. And now it's used to display all of my breadboards and I think it's just such a unique use of this space, and it adds a lot of charm and character to our dining room, which you see a lot of in cottage style homes. I have a tutorial on my blog where I share about our dining room shelves. If you're interested, I will leave the link below. The next element that I want to talk to you guys about today are cut flowers. So English cottages are known for these beautiful flowers sitting on a rustic mantle or near the kitchen window that someone probably gathered from the meadow nearby. And unfortunately, that's not always possible for all of us, especially for us Michiganders who are ready for spring in March and April, and it's still snowing outside. So this seems obvious, it seems like sort of a given, but faux florals are just such a great option if you're looking to save money. You can use them year after year, and I like to invest in flowers that look real and flowers that are sort of neutral and can fit in with every color palette I decide to go with, greens and blues. So think about incorporating some fresh or faux flowers throughout your home. If you have access to real ones, great. If not, there are so many wonderful faux options out there, and I actually have a video where I talk about faux flowers and what I look for, and I'll put that link down below for you. The fifth element that I want to share with you guys are cozy reading nooks. Quintessential to so many English cottages are cozy little nooks. If you have a corner in your home that you aren't really using, or one that you could fit an overstuffed chair in with a little table and a lamp, you are on your way to creating an English cottage style vibe in your home. And you might as well brew some tea while you're at it. but seriously, I love cozy reading nooks, and I have tried to sort of do this in our living room. We, not long ago, I want to say 2 years ago now, we invested in some really large oversized chairs from IKEA actually. They were very affordable. They have slip covers that I can pull off and wash. I do have a video all about these chairs, how I like them, how large they are, how I wash the slip covers, but I just love cozy little nooks where you can curl up and read a book on a rainy day. So think about where in your home you could incorporate a nook like this. That sort of leads me to my sixth English cottage element, and that's books. Books are such a great and affordable way to bring character and texture into your home. I love looking at thrift stores and antique shops for old books. I have a set of books on the shelves next to my fireplace. They are vintage Reader's Digest books, and I paid 25 cents each for those. And I got a whole huge stack of them at a thrift store, and I just love the color they add and the texture to the shelves that we have in our living room. So think about incorporating books in your decor. Alright, the next English cottage style element that I have to talk about is wood beams. In almost all authentic English cottages built hundreds of years ago, you would have seen exposed wood beams. And finding authentic old beams, they can be pretty pricey, but I have a great tutorial, and I know I've talked about it before on my blog, for some faux beams that you can create using simple 2x6s. I will share the link to that below, but I honestly feel like these beams have added so much character to our kitchen. In fact, I loved them so much that I added them to our entryway as well. And if you're really just set on having real, authentic beams, I recently installed a beam on our fireplace that's 100 years old. It's a gorgeous barn beam, and it was actually only $60 on Facebook Marketplace. So it was definitely not super cheap, but it was actually a lot more affordable than I thought they would be. So think about looking on Facebook Marketplace. I know depending on where you live, it might be a little bit tricky to find one, but it's definitely worth the drive if you end up seeing one anywhere near you. They will just instantly add character and charm to your home. Number 8 on my list for English cottage style elements is stone. Now normally when we think of stone, we just have those price tags in our eyeballs, right? It's expensive. But there are so many awesome options today that look and feel like stone, but at a fraction of the cost. One of those options that I've used in my home is air stone. We used air stone right over our brick fireplace here in our living room, and we also installed air stone on a wall in our kitchen to create a beautiful rustic accent wall. So look around your home. If you don't happen to have a fireplace, maybe you have a wall that you could apply stone to for a gorgeous accent. But I would most definitely look into incorporating stone somehow throughout your home if you love English cottage style. Okay, so number 9. I'm almost done, I promise. We have 2 more to go. Number 9 on my list would be vintage and antique finds. I think cottages, English style cottages, are so quaint and charming because they don't have everything new in them. And there's nothing wrong with new. New is nice. I have new pieces in my home, but try to start looking for pieces that are unique, pieces that are different, that are older, that have character, that have some wear on them. There is just something so charming about older pieces that have a story behind them and a history to them. And you'll notice as you begin to incorporate these vintage pieces throughout your home, you will instantly start to add more charm and more character. Of course, I love shopping at thrift stores, and I actually have even found a lot of great finds at antique stores, which tend to be a little bit more expensive than thrift stores, sometimes a lot more expensive. I don't know, there's just something so charming about incorporating vintage elements into your home. Alright, the 10th element that I want to share with you, if you are trying to achieve an English cottage style throughout your home, are collections. Is there something that you collect or something that you love that you've been wanting to collect? I see a lot of collections displayed in English cottages, whether it's white ironstone or just something like white pictures like I have here in my living space. Maybe you enjoy collecting horses, horse paintings, or horse figurines, or whatever it is. If you love to collect it, put it on display in your home. I have a couple of collections, things that I really love and look out for whenever I go thrifting. One of those collections is my Pfaltzgraff dishes that I have displayed in my dining room, and I have a whole video about those if you're interested in looking for some yourself. But another idea for a collection are breadboards and cutting boards. I love to display mine right off of my kitchen, and some of mine that I have displayed right now are new. They are reproductions, but one day I would love for them to all be antique. And unfortunately, breadboards and authentic cutting boards are very expensive. I mean, very expensive. So maybe I'll get lucky at a flea market this summer and find some. But yes, if there's something you love to collect, put it on display in your home. Alright, the final English cottage element that I want to talk to you guys about is wainscoting or beadboard. So wainscoting, true wainscoting, if you're using, tongue and groove boards, it can be pricey, but thankfully we have a lot of options today that are very affordable. We actually installed beadboard paneling here in our entryway, and honestly, I don't think that you can tell the difference between the beadboard paneling and the real stuff. Now, you might disagree with me on that, and that's okay, but if you're on a low budget and you're trying to add more character to your home, adding something like beadboard or wainscoting goes such a long way. It just takes the charm level in a room so much higher. If you are looking for a way to add more character or charm, think about beadboard paneling. For a 4x8 sheet, it's about $20–25, and that's really not a lot of money, especially if you want to do a small space like an entryway or a bathroom. Alright, well, I hope some of these English cottage style elements inspired you. If you're anything like me, we would all love to live in an authentic English cottage that was built hundreds of years ago, but that's not really possible for a lot of us, so we can incorporate these elements, but not for a lot of money. So anyways, I hope these ideas encouraged you today, and be sure you check the description below for all of the links that I mentioned in this video. I will also have a blog post with references and photos if you'd like even more inspiration. Thank you so much for watching today. If you're new to my channel, please be sure and hit that subscribe button. Bye guys!